I think we can start.
All right.
I'm going to start here.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. This is Oscar Muendel, production manager here at WVCW Radio, and I am talking with Onokio after his fantastic set here. I guess to start, if you could introduce yourself, and this is a bad question to start, considering you've already told me that you have a hard time describing your sound.
Mm-hmm.
Could you try? And if not, maybe talk about why it's hard to describe your sound.
Okay, so I'm Onokio, and my name is Zach, and let's see. Okay, description time. So it's hard to describe because I think it's like a lot of elements that are morphing. And so I usually default to like textural because it does have that sort of hypnotic, interpolating feel to it. But it also is pretty beat heavy, as you heard before. So yeah. I'd say like it's like textural. A lot of the music is there's spaces in my head, or like entities as well. So that's like important for me in the music.
Spaces and entities?
Yeah.
So do you hear these in your head, or are you trying to replicate something in your head, or are you or do you find sounds just by searching through synthesis?
It's for me it's both.
Okay.
So it's like, sometimes I'll have a melody in my head and I'll try to use field recordings. I've been really into electromagnetic field recordings, and so I'll use those that I've gathered out in the field those days of just recording samples, bring them into systems that I've created, and try to find the melodies. But then other times, it's really late and I open up a patch I've been working on or something, and then just totally go tangential and just like follow the thought.
How many days of the week are you in a max patch?
Not often lately.
Really?
Yeah. I've been outside of it. Which is kind of like a nice break. But then these live shows has been like, okay, I gotta like crank this up and figure out what I was thinking for a lot of these systems I've been using. So that's been really neat. But when I was deep in it, it was probably like every other day, every 3 days. So just like diving into it, looking up different things. There's an amazing community around Max. So yeah.
Okay. So are you still creating when you're not a Max? Or are you mostly doing field recordings? Or are you doing other things? We've talked about this, but just working on this video game and 3D modeling, especially lately. Okay.
So that's been really taking up my time, and like that involves a lot of coding. So I've been staring at a screen, but for different reasons. That's been taking up most of my time. I always have my field recorder on me, so it's like a continuous process of like, if I hear something while I'm out, capturing it and seeing what I can make with it later on. So
okay, do you want to talk about your video game?
Yeah, we can talk about
maybe
that
we can do.
But
maybe that's kind of a tangent. Maybe should we get into your set first?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we can talk about the.
Let's hear. So I'm gonna
the set
struggle through this.
No, you're good.
So
you're good.
are your sounds pre-recorded, or are they, or I guess, are some of them pre-recorded and some of them actively being synthesized?
So with it's like, I'd say like 50-50.
Okay.
So I have a lot of clips. I'm triggering in Ableton over here, and then over here I've got the Max patch, which this is more like live synthesis.
Okay.
And so I guess I can try to explain this.
Yeah, where's a good place to start?
I always start literally on the top. I'll just go through my thought process of while I'm performing. Okay. So I'll bring this sound in with this just a pad sound that's been filtered, and it has
that's nice.
Just got like a basic filter, bandpass filter on it. But this is a little interesting. So this is just like a feedback delay network. So it's you can kind of hear the feedback and delay higher up, that like that fluttering sound. So I've got that control. I've got that delay going into a reverb, and that's on a different volume control here. So I can like bring it in if I want and like cut it out. But this one's meant to be pretty smooth. And then I've got some presets to change the EQ if I want. But we start over here with this. So start with just like the pad sound to create an atmosphere. And then so I usually go down here, and this is where more of the fun stuff happens with the sub patches. So this is just
so you butter
like,
up the audience with the ambiance, and then you throw them for a loop.
Yeah. Bring him into a new space. Bring him into a new space. So yeah, this is just these are just arbitrary names. Or I don't know. I try to make they make sense to me, and they're pretty simple. So this is just like waves. This is the sub patch here. Let me bring it up. Actually, I'll just isolate them. It'll make it easier to understand. So okay, so now we're taking out the pads.
And so what is it that's generating that sound?
This is just a sine wave. Being controlled by an LFO, the volume, which is pretty simple, and then just some filtered noise. And you can kind of just hear it. Yeah, you can hear, of course, me messing with it. Sometimes I come in this sub patch, and mess with it live, but for the most part, I just let this run. But I love these sort of higher frequencies.
Totally.
And
just because you can.
It's like,
right.
It's just like extremely hypnotic for me.
Totally.
To me, and like just attracted to that.
And I guess like Max artists who use Max, they're like kind of the only artists that really can use those in their live performance. You know, if like people using synthesizers, any other, it's something unique to this program, or at least for live performance.
It's just such nice waveforms in that way. But okay, and so that's one section. So I'll kind of bring that section in. This is another section just called sub patch called stutters, and so just coming into here. Let's see. So I've got a cycle, which is just like a sine wave going to a snapshot, which takes like, which takes a snapshot of the signal
and puts it into like data form.
Puts it into data form. Yep. So where it just is numbers, and then so it's controlling this metro and turning this counter on and off.
That's awesome.
Which is triggering, kind of like triggering the volumes, and like I like those little clicky noises too, the clipping noises. That was pretty big in the early 2000s. They would like purposefully leave those clips.
That's something that I've noticed a lot in like Vespertine style, like that production where you know Vespertine.
I don't.
That's Björk's 2020 or 2001 album. You should listen to.
Oh yeah. Oh wait a minute. Okay. Yes.
A lot of the production on that is like the kind of like the clipping, the clicks, and
Yeah. I love that those clip sounds are it's awesome. Sounds I like.
Yeah.
And then that's okay. So that kind of creates another layer. And
why do you use Max 5?
Max 5.
Why are you using this old form?
Yeah, this old form. Honestly, I really enjoy limits. Limits are really useful. Max is known for like its limitless nature, which I guess like technically it's not, but in practice it is.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, with this, it's also just like it's really, I'm just attracted to older technology in that way, and it just makes me feel really like comfortable, and So and also this is just the newest version that can work on here, that can work on Windows XP.
Because I see you have a newer version of Max here. Is there a reason? Yeah, but then is it just like the processing power? You need both laptops, or is it just nicer?
Yeah, I just like to have them separate, honestly.
Okay.
And like I just kind of have the patch on here and like controlling it with this interface too. I grew up with Windows XP. That was like getting into the AOL and all of that that we were talking about before, like Mist and Halo, all of that stuff. So it's just like that sort of that's sort of like aesthetic.
You're comfortable with that.
Good. I'm just comfortable with that. Yeah. So,
okay. What is your favorite Max object?
Oh gosh. Favorite Max object? That's a really good question. Oh, I can definitely say, actually, now I think about it. So we can scroll down here. So the auto patter.
What does that do?
And patter storage. Yeah. So it's like a preset object, but along with the presets, you can interpolate between the presets. So on a normal preset object, it's just like a binary thing where it's like you click one. And it changes immediately, and there's no smooth transition. Right. With auto patter, you can go down here. Let me scroll down here, and here's a good example. You can see with these envelopes here, you can transition between. I think I have 6 presets, so that is controlling this, which that's probably super distorted. Let me turn it down. So I'll slowly bring this one up, and you can kind of see the sound changing along with the envelopes. And this is just, I'm pretty sure this is just filter sine wave inside of this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got, actually no, okay, so it's like 3 triangle waves and some sine waves. Yeah, going through filters. Yeah, going through these 2 filters. So yeah, and then going into the live dot gain. So
And AutoPattern allows you to do that?
yeah, and it just allows me to we can just go down here. So it allows me to put a sine wave to manipulate and interpolate using a sine wave. So it's like this smooth transition between them, and it's also automated too. So that can be happening off to the side. And if I want to, I can turn that interpolation off. I just made a gate that turns off the cycle, or stops the signal from the cycle coming through. So now you can hear it's just it's stuck on this one envelope.
Oh, right.
Which sounds cool, but it's I really love being able to have that control of the fluidity of the auto pattern. So yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Okay.
My favorite. So yeah.
With this, with using Max, with what you were talking about, like it is, and like you said, in practice, limitless.
Mm-hmm.
Do you stick to 12-tone equal temperament most of the time, or do you deal with microtonality, or do you not even care about the pitch? You're like your tonal center or whatever.
For some patches, yeah, I definitely like. I have scales that I'll choose.
Okay.
Definitely not 12-tone. Yeah, it just depends. I mean, there's reasons why that's like attractive, right? It's like we're parts of us are like programmed to enjoy that, but yeah, for this patch, for instance, I wasn't going off of you can even see with these frequencies here. I was going off of like moving the numbers until I liked the tone I heard. So yeah, that's kind of how I operate mostly in Max. I think that's why it's so inviting to me, you know, because it gives you that total control. You're pretty, for the most part at least, stuck with tonality if you're using just general MIDI. So
yeah, right. Yeah. It's just right with Mac. It's like just as easy to do MIDI notes as it is to not, and so it's I love it so much.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, no. That freedom is yeah.
Is there anything else regarding here? He's got more gear here and another laptop.
Oh yes.
Is there anything else of note that you would like to talk about? We don't have to go into every single little detail, but if there's anything that, like, I don't know, if something unique that you have found that really adds a lot to your sound, I don't know.
I think like there's some custom like Max for Live stuff. I kind of opened this up, and that's the thing. Like I use a lot of not like super unique, methods. Like all my stuff is pretty like, okay, so this is just like a feedback delay network, you know what I mean? So it's just like me just using delay and then putting delays into delays, and then so having that like constant glitch sound or whatever
Gotcha.
is super useful. Just having like, anyways, I could kind of put it through, but yeah, it just sounds wild. I don't know. it's too
unstable.
loud. It's extremely unstable. And the thing is, I know it's like I don't have them set up to where it's stable. It's like it can go wrong. That's also another thing. It's like I almost don't want to refine it too much because like I want that to have the possibility of it all falling apart and having to like rescue it, quote unquote rescue it, live. Because if it was all like pre-programmed, I'd probably be pretty bored by it, and everyone else probably would be too. So,
cool.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about electronic music and the nature of electronic music.
Okay.
You have I feel like you really have thoroughly explored a lot of the parts of electronic music, and something about electronic music that I love so much is it evokes simultaneously, or it's like of the world of like metal artificiality. We can only create we can only create these sounds because of all of this absurd circuitry that we have, but it's also on the other end of things like the most natural, pure, harmonic thing. Like it's not inside of like a context of like human like like the centuries and centuries of human musical traditions that we have. It's like you're interacting with like nature, and I know you've talked about the mountains, and I know I've seen that you work on patches in nature, and your game EchoSoft deals a lot with like abandoned corporation buildings or just like absurd, like brutalist architecture. I'm curious, why are you so attracted to electronic music?
I know you mentioned the nature thing. There's a part of me that really wants it, it's a little bit hypocritical in a way, because a lot of these materials, of course, are created from the destruction of nature.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wants that synergy to happen between electronic sounds and organic sounds, and I think that's why I use a lot of field recordings in my work, because I want that. I want there to be like a air in it. I want there to be breath in it. I want it to feel like it's alive, like it's like I mentioned before, like it's an entity, it's a space. But at the same time, it's nice to have that control of being like, we can go extremely artificial and we can go deeply like cold if we want it to sound really cold, in a way that's harder to accomplish if you're just playing an acoustic guitar. Though I don't know, I've heard cold sounding acoustic music, emotionally that makes you feel a similar aspect. Right. But for electronic music, it's, for me at least, it's the merging of those two worlds is just attractive to me. Yeah. So okay. I don't know if that answers that question.
Yeah, no, totally. And you explore a lot with a lot of the tracks that I've heard of yours, like this, like I don't know how to describe it, like a kind of awe-tech or desolation that's like can only be made with like Macs, where it's just like like these ripping feedback chords, and you're just like these like just like desolate wastes of sound. And like as someone who like whenever I like play songs like that for my family or anyone or my girlfriend, they're like, okay. I'm like, there's something that I can't really describe in the music that is just so entrancing. And as someone who goes out of your way to make those absurd sounds, why do you make them?
That's a good question. I think I was talking to someone the other day, and they said their attraction to music is like to make them feel like joy and happiness, which is good. And if that helps them get through the day, like that's important and that's wonderful. There's no right or wrong with this. But for me, I'm attracted to that desolation and to that darkness, because like humanity is deeply complex. And so I feel like if you only just focus on that joy, you're ignoring the parts of what make us human. Like if also, like, another thing, it's like the horror aspects of reality. It's like if you explore those like darker corners, you can understand the room a little bit more. It's like you can understand the reality a little bit more. So, and also just globally what's going on, and like it just I'm more attractive to things that sound realistic and that aren't too well, I don't know. I say that, but I also because I really love fantasy, because fantasy is a big thing for me too. But I guess I say that like straying away and only staying in one corner is claustrophobic to me. And so exploring like the darkness, I guess is what you want to call
the
it,
darkness,
the coldness,
and the comfort.
It's like it's important. I mean, like without anything, it's like it's such a cop out to be like the balance of things, but it's I think it's I think it's the balance of having that fantasy and realistic and the darkness, as well as maybe some sort of relief and clarity. So
Cool. Do you want to talk about EchoSoft now?
EchoSoft Sector Zero. That's so that's my video game. I just launched, and I mean, how you're describing it is pretty solid. It's kind of like a derelict exploration of these structures, and there's some puzzle aspects to it, and a lot of the sound design all the sound design I'd created, and it's mostly for me about the atmosphere of that world. Again, the world creation, the space creation. I'm like that sort of world building. I joke I like all my friends are world builders, like through their art and through their sound and through their like for me, for that at least, through that video game, so you worked on it for 2 years. For 2 years I started like a little bit before the pandemic. I started to create the models, because like I made like everything in it, like even the boxes, the little details, the
You didn't buy any assets?
I didn't buy any assets. Wow. Exactly. Yeah. I used a couple like concrete textures, but I was out taking pictures of like
that's so cool.
sewer, like like a
Yeah.
gross looking part of a sewer, just the like a square of material, that I could use for the game. So a lot of that stuff is just yeah.
And I mean, if you worked on like sticking with a project for 2 years, you must have some like passion behind it, right? Or I would imagine. Like, what, like,
definitely.
The message you wanted to portray, or just for the sake of making a video game, what about EchoSoft made you want to work on it for 2 years and actually come like
like actually
bring it to fruition just by yourself?
Do it. Yeah. I think just. Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm sorry.
Why would I? No. It's good to take time. Why did I want to do it? I'm just I find myself just driven, like I have to do this sort of stuff, and so I just driven to do this stuff. Like I have to do this. I don't know. Okay. It's like it's just a mode of like existence, kind of, and so I don't. Yeah. God, that sounds so pretentious.
No, I mean
it's how I live. But yeah, I mean, truly though, it's like I started this thing. I had this vision for this world. I made sketches. Like I have like these these visions that I just want to see made. Made, and to share them with other people has been such a trip. Yeah, I've been enjoying like good reviews and the bad reviews, especially the bad reviews.
Really, what have people been saying?
Oh, just like there's no save point or something. I'm like, well, I didn't put it there because it should only take you like 15 minutes. Or like parts that like there's parts that are really brutal, like some platforming parts or anyways. So it's
platforming parts are brutal.
It's brutal. It is. It totally is. It totally is.
But I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, because I don't want it to be too easy, but I also don't want to like punish the player.
Right.
Like, because for me, it truly is like the atmosphere. It's like walking through it. All the background sounds, all of that is like so deeply important to me. I think we were talking about before the set. Just even walking around in some of the video games I grew up with, like some of the maps and hearing those sounds is just like super inspiring. Yeah, I'm always trying to figure out like who are those people who created like the atmospheric elements. So yeah.
I had a good. What was my question? Oh, the setting of EchoSoft. There's like the opening cutscene. There are seemingly like these mechanical angels.
Yeah.
And I saw in the you have all of your you put like all of the sounds up on Bandcamp, and like the sound for the jump scare is the priest. There seems to be like Christian imagery.
Yeah. It's more just like mythical. There's definitely there's not there's not anything like. No like commentary.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
But it's definitely more just like the mythical aspect of like there being these like holy beings that have brought this creature into this other dimension. And yeah, I know it's tough. It's like you want to explain some of it, but you don't want to go too far. Because my favorite stories, I was just talking to somebody else about this the other day. It's like my favorite stories are ones that are, of course, open-ended, that don't give you that complete clarity.
Oh my God.
That's why a lot of the game even is blurry. I just like the blurriness. You'll hear maybe in the set too. Yeah, I love that sort of the blurriness of reality. The uncertainty and the
So what is are you is that a wrap on EchoSoft, or do you plan on making other levels for it?
Oh man, yeah, I know. It's like Sector 0, Sector 1, Sector 2. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure at this point. Yeah, I need to take a break from it for a little bit.
Yeah,
because like I've been. It's just like I got really, really, really deep in it, and then, and then it's released, and now it's like out there, and I think I'm gonna take a little break, but I draw a lot of sketches come to me of like different creatures or different settings. I see things like in different stories, films, and things, and deep inspire me in those ways. So yeah.
So,
Dreams.
So then, what are you working on now?
Dreams. What am I working on now? That's a good question. What am I working on now? Honestly, preparing for these live sets have been great. Yeah. Just like focusing on that, figuring out a flow between them. I finished up a commission, a max patch about like I guess no, that was like about a month ago. I finished that up, but
How does that work? Commission for a max patch? I
commission
didn't know
for
that was a
ma-
thing.
Yeah. I don't know how much I can talk about it, but
Oh,
this video game. No, it's fine. No, this this video game company came to me and they were like, "Hey, we want you to help, or we want you to design an instrument for us that'll be in the game."
Oh, that's cool.
And so I was like, "Yes, that sounds great." And they're like, "We will pay you." I'm like, "That also sounds good." So that I was like pretty heavily into that as well while working on trying to wrap up EchoSoft. So yeah, I'm kind of just in live performance mode and figuring that out.
Well,
So
cool.
yeah, which has been really wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, to do that.
Go-
Switch to that mode.
Go see Onokio live. It's unbelievable. That's what I can ask you about. I have another good question.
Mm-hmm.
I saw you live at the Southern in
Yeah.
Charlottesville, and it was very heavy and very dance based.
Yeah.
And you were obviously you were doing your electronic musician thing, just like kind of head down, doing your knobs.
all this.
But there you were like had this stage presence.
Yeah.
You can really bring the energy.
Mhm.
Oh God, how do I form that into a question?
Why are you bipolar? No, it's like
how does it? For me, I could never do that, but I could do the knob twiddling.
Yeah.
What is it like? Are you like putting on a show, or are you just like? Are you really feeling the?
I'm feeling that. I know I struggle with that because I feel like people might think I'm like faking it or something, But for me, it's just feeling the music, and that sort of music is so intense.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to explode and
you can tell.
yeah, and so I think that's just the music just informs the reaction. So like this is like more atmospheric, and so it gets me in that headspace. But if music is like let's dance and rage and destroy things and move our bodies till they hurt. I mean, it's like that's what I want to do, and that's. Yeah, and that's what I did then,
Cool.
Which is nice. And that's the other thing too. It's like I kind of need that pendulum swing of like having the atmospheric stuff while also having the really dance chaotic stuff, music as well. I feel like that keeps me sane and interested and moving forward. Yeah, always trying to move forward with that. So.
Okay, do you have, on that note, I guess, do you have any shows to promote, any albums to promote? Do you want to like say where you can get EchoSoft?
Yeah, EchoSoft you can get on itch.io or onokio.itch.io. So yeah, you can download that for free or you can donate, whatever you want. And let's see, live shows. Yeah, I think I was saying before, community service in Richmond.
Okay.
On February 9th, I believe is the thing. So yeah, I guess just search community service on Instagram and then DM them for the address.
Okay.
So
and make sure you follow him. Dates will be on his story, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah, I always try to keep things up to date. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have anything else to say to the people at home?
No. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for the amazing set.
Oh yeah.
This has been Nails on a Chalkboard. I'm Oscar, and play EchoSoft.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.